Wagwan, my people. Bit of a different setting today. I got the child seat in the background because I have a nephew. Okay, shush. In this video, I'm going to talk about the harsh truths of getting rich young through high ticket sales specifically, but a few of the things that I've learned through being in the game, because obviously I made my initial stacking of cash through sales, and now I've ventured more into the business side of things. And I just want to talk about the harsh truths that I've learned in the game. The first one that I wanted to cover is actually regarding high ticket sales itself. It's what I preach, and I think it's definitely the best first initial step that you can actually take on your journey. However, sales itself is not super scalable for one simple reason, that you can only take so many sales calls. So it's definitely going to get you out of your job. It's definitely going to get you a lot more freedom than you've ever had before. But in the sense of you actually getting full financial freedom where it's no longer linked to your time, you can't really scale high ticket sales to like $100,000 a month, 200, $1 million a month. It's not going to happen. So use it to get yourself to a point where you can actually leave your job and just focus on business full time, but then make sure you're building to something else eventually somewhere down the line. Does that make sense? The second truth is I want you guys to understand what your income actually is. What is your income? Your current income is a reflection of the quality of your skills times by the amount of focused work you have put into that vehicle over the last 6 months. That is what your income is. That's how you calculate your income, right? So if you do not like your income, it is time to focus on the input and what you're putting in and the quality of your skills. Do you understand? The third truth that I learned was that the best way to make money isn't the business model itself. It's not about e-com. It's not about agencies. It's not about sales. It's not about appointment setting. It's not about anything. What it's about is you solving problems. You selling the knowledge, selling the information that you've learned on how to fix people's problems. For example, high ticket sales. I didn't know how to sell. I wanted to make money with sales. I paid someone to teach me how to sell to get myself to the position I'm in now. That person was solving a problem. I didn't know how to sell. They could teach me how to sell. They sold me their information and their expertise to help solve my problems, because what is solving a problem? Solving a problem is alleviating pain. What is alleviating pain? It's value. Value is created when pain is alleviated, and pain is alleviated when problems are solved. Do you understand? So then the fourth one is learn a skill. Use that skill to stack cash, get to a point where you're making $200,000, $300,000 a year, and then you want to find your actual money maker, right? Now you're out of your 9 to 5, you're making really good money, but then you want to invest that in building a business, right? This could be an info business. Like I said, figure out what problems you can now solve with the skills and the knowledge that you have, solve those problems and build a business around that. And that's where you're actually going to see that exponential growth and that insane wealth creation. Do you understand? The fifth lesson I've learned is that most people, when they start making money, is they focus on the material. They focus on the cars, the money, all these things, right? But all of the real G's, all of the people who kill it, my mentors, the people who crush the game on a different level, are the people who focus on mission, purpose, and deeper meaning in their work. The real G's are not focused on the material, but they are focused on the impact. Do you understand? Substance, bro. Substance and the mission, the heroic mission. Okay, that's what the real G's focus on, and that is something I always remind myself to focus on. Okay, the sixth thing is proof and results above all else, right? What we call ourselves is a results-based company. We don't really give a fuck about anything. As long as people are getting results and they're getting good results, then we are doing the right thing. It is far easier to scale and succeed and sleep at night when all you're focused on is getting results for people. There's way less trickery involved, way less flashy sales letters, way less sales tactics, and more of just like, bruv, look at this shit that works, that we've proven works, that is continuing to work, living proof, okay? And then people will just want in. When you're actually doing something that works and you've got proof of it working, you don't need any of the other bullshit, okay? So proof and results above all else. Number 7, you can be lazy and make pretty good money, right? And I know a lot of people who are pretty lazy and they still make a better income than most people working jobs, right? But if you actually truly want to pursue your mission and go like next level, get the crazy success, you have to have like constant breakdowns, and you have to constantly be reevaluating your situation, and your mind just works in different ways. Like now that I'm on the path I'm on, I have probably a existential crisis once every 2 months where I'm just like, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm freaking out. I'm unsuccessful. I'm 23. I don't have a million yet. I haven't conquered a country and all these things, right? But that is the mindset. And the fact that now, if I make $10,000 a week, I'm disappointed, right? I wasn't always like that. I was like, at one point, I was like, 10K a month sounds crazy. But you need to constantly update your firmware to the point where if you aren't going crazy, then you're not successful. So shift your perspective as you become successful so that you're never comfortable. You always need to be the hungry wolf at the bottom of the hill. How I do that is once I hit a level, if I ever drop below that, then I am basically a loser. So now that I've got to consistent 10K weeks, if I drop below that, I am taking the biggest L and I'm looking at myself as like an actual failure. And that's why I'm hungry to keep pushing. And that's why so many people fall off, is because they get a 10K month and they're like, oh, I made it, you know, and they just coast because they got a 10K month. That's not how it works. You need to always be updating your firmware and your perspective to make yourself, to look at yourself as though you're at the bottom of the hill. Because if you're looking at yourself as the king on the top of the hill, why would you work? Do you understand? Number 8, you never know what is going to bang. You don't know what's going to do well when it comes to content, when it comes to sales, when it comes to anything. You don't know what content, tactics, sales calls, you don't know what's going to work. So the only way for you to figure that out is just test. So when you're doing content, test all different types of content, put daily videos out and keep testing the different things. What you think might be the worst video you've ever made could do 1 million, could do 5 million. Some of the lowest effort, silliest posts that I've seen go the most viral. So just constantly test, constantly try new things, because you never know, bro. Turning the car on because it's getting hot in here. I don't want to start sweating on cam, so just shush, alright, please. But I don't want this aircon to make too much noise and hurt the quality of that video, so let me turn it down. Shush! Here we go. Alright, I hope that's not making too much noise. Now, number 9, when it comes to nothing happens for a very long time, then everything happens. Okay, so what do I mean by this? A lot of people get success quickly, right? And they're like, boom, 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 but then they fall off. But the people who actually win, especially long term, are the people where nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, then everything happens. You see Hormozi talk about it, how he was doing a podcast for 4 or 5 years or something, and then all of a sudden it went from 2,000 downloads to 30 million downloads or something ridiculous, right? Nothing happens for a really long time, and then everything happens at once. And this was the case for me. I was closing sales, taking sales calls all day, every day for 6 months before I got to 10K a month. So I was on like between $500 to $1,000 a week for 6 months, and nothing was happening. I couldn't get any, I couldn't get any more calls. I couldn't get any more money. I didn't know what was happening, but I just didn't quit. And when you just don't quit, that's when over an extended period of time, everything happens at once. I went from $6,000. I went from, not $6,000, what am I talking about? 10K. I went from fuck all a month to 10K a month, right? So I'm gonna start that shit again. I was making shit money for the first 6 months. Then at the 6th month of closing, I made $10,000 a month. As soon as I started making $10,000 a month, I started posting content. The first month I started posting content, I instantly went from $10,000 a month to 30K a month. And since then, which has only been a couple months, like, it's going insane. So nothing happened for the first 6 months. And then after that 6 months, within a period of like 2-3 months, I went from $10,000 to 40-50K a month. Nothing happens for a very long time, and then everything happens at once. The 10th lesson I've learned is that getting blessed or getting success early on can be a curse. I've seen time and time again kids come in and crush it and do really, really well really early on. So like I said, I had 6 months of nothing before I got anything, and I think that's why I'm still so hungry, because I was starved of opportunity. So when it came, I was like, boom, locked in. There's people who have come in recently, made $8,000-$10,000 in their first month. Okay, when this happens, you expect everything to be easy. You already have complacency start kicking in because you're sitting on cash now and you think it's just going to continue to come. And I've seen it happen time and time again where people who got blessed early on, they think they're that guy, they think they're up, and then boom, straight down because they don't want to work. They think it's easy, and then they realize it's not fucking easy, it's hard, and then they start stressing out. Blessed early on, like, it's definitely good, but it's hard to rewire your brain to understand that it isn't easy, and there was a specific case of that. But if you're going through it and you're 6 months in and you haven't really seen any results yet, just remember that is going to pay off. But both these things are good. Obviously, I'm not saying don't come in and crush it straight away, but just always make sure that you understand that things are going to take delayed gratification. They're not going to be easy and things like that. Okay, number 11, another thing I've seen hormones you talk about. People love you when you're making less than them, but as soon as you start making more than them, it just turns to envy and jealousy and things like that. And you need to truly learn to not give a fuck what anyone else is doing, right? Not even what other people think about you, but you need to understand that nobody else's life has anything to do with you, right? So someone puts an L or W, someone puts something on their story. Nobody else's life has anything to do with you. And this goes for winners and losers, because if you're a loser and you're looking at people like me or other people succeed and you're kind of envious and jealous of that, just remind yourself, my life has nothing to do with yours. Now, if you're winning and you see other people winning or losing and you start thinking about that, and this person's doing really well, blah, 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 or this person's like taking this, no one else's life has anything to do with you, bruv. So put your blinkers on and just go, how can I be the best that I can be? All right, because so many people get caught up in what other people are doing, what other people are saying. No one else's life has anything to do with you, bruv. The only person that matters to you is you, okay? Do you understand? Number 12, relationships over money. I saw Dana White talk about this recently, and he said, the people that have the most success, but I agree with this, and I have had this thought before I saw Dana White talk about it, but it kind of reaffirmed my belief. But when you put relationships over money, right? When you're not arguing over like little amounts of money and, oh, maybe if I go and do my own thing, I can make more, or, oh, can I like try to negotiate a few extra $100 and shit like that? You're subconsciously destroying a relationship over something that's only going to hurt you. You might be trying to discuss a really small amount of money that you can make more because you think you're worth more, but now instead of working together and building up a team and leveling up together so everyone makes more money, now you're kind of just hurting the relationship because you're trying to nitpick and maybe leave and do something else and try to make more money on your own. Always put your relationship first. If you can maintain a good relationship and not worry about like the money shit so much, it sounds crazy because obviously everyone wants the money, but put relationships first and having good relationships with people and being able to build with them, and that's going to make you way more money in the long term anyway. People want to argue about percentages and the numbers, and this is all trivial shit, and they end up burning all their bridges and just ending up with nothing anyway. The 13th thing I learned is that if you make a lot of money young, like I'm starting to do, and I know a lot of people that are, you either go one or two ways. You either go to the dark or the light. There's really not any in between. Like, you either go full degenerate, bottles in clubs, OnlyFans girls, and just degeneracy, or you like find God and you actually walk down like the Jesus path or the Allah path. And that's kind of what I've noticed is like when you get that money, you either find God or you just go the opposite way because it's such an extreme. But all of the most successful people I know and the happiest people I know obviously go to the light and they find God and they get in their faith, and that just helps them be even more focused and more successful. So if there's any lesson in that, it's if you're going to be one side of the coin, try to go towards the light, not hell. Okay, it's basically a trap. So just don't fall into the trap. Make a lot of money young, don't fall into the trap of degeneracy, because you're gonna have the world at your fingertips. 14th, something I always harp on about, and I'm not going to stop harping on about anytime soon, which is obsession over everything. Do you understand? Obsession is always going to trump all else. It's going to trump focus. It's going to trump discipline. It's going to trump everything, because when you're obsessed and you need something, but you don't want it, you need it, you're controlled by an out-of-body experience. There's something outside of you pushing you, making you have to get something, and that's always the best way to operate, promise you. Now there is obviously a bunch more, but that's pretty much all the ones I could come up with off the top of my head. Let me know if you like this raw style of content. I might get back in the whip if you guys do like this. I appreciate you. Hope this helped you kind of change your perspective a bit. Okay, I think I'm gonna go try to edit some videos that I took in Japan, and I'm also going to finish writing off some educational stuff for you guys, because we need to get in our bag this year. I'm doing it. My job is to help you guys do it. So like this shit, run it up. I'm trying to grow on YouTube crazy this year, all right? So love.